Dear ladies and gentlemen, hello from Mexico, and also good morning to everyone tuning in from maybe the US or Mexico, and good afternoon to Europe, especially to our listeners from Austria. My name is Thomas Moschig, and I'm in my function as the commercial attaché at Advantage Austria here in Mexico, the commercial section of the Austrian embassy. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar on the topic of the Mexican aviation industry, demands and opportunities. Before we start, let me mention that today's webinar was brought to us thanks to Go International. This is a joint initiative of the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber and the Ministry of Economy of Austria. And yeah, this fund is up and running until March 2023. So if you're interested in learning how your company can apply for co-funding, please go and visit the website go-international.at. You can see the logo on the bottom right corner. Okay, yes, first things first, I think I jumped too quickly here. Let me mention that this webinar will be recorded, as you probably already know, and that means that you will have the possibility to share the contents also with your peers later on. And also with the kind permission of FEMIA, our main speakers today, we will distribute the presentation among all registered persons after this session. And last but not least, as you're probably used to it with webinars already, there will be an Ask the Expert session at the very end of the presentation. This means you will be able to type your questions below in the questions window. This is in your console, and this might be during the presentation or at the very end of it. And our guest speaker, Mr. Lizcano, he will try to address these questions in about 20 to 30 minutes time. Yes, so let's jump right into the topic and talk about today's topic, the Mexican aviation aerospace industry. This sector has played a great role in the Mexican economic development in recent years. We must keep in mind that the aviation industry is comparatively young in Mexico, but nonetheless, it's an excellent example for growth, for foreign investment attraction, and job creation in the country in recent years. Based on the data we have from the Mexican Aerospace Industry Federation, which is FEMIA, the industry experienced 14% average annual growth between the years 2004 and 2019, so in 15 years. That means we're not actually talking about 14% growth in 15 years, we're actually talking about 14% growth yearly in the sector in Mexico. Also, it was responsible, I mean, I'm referring to the sector, obviously, for the creation of more than 63,000 jobs ever since, and also accounted up to $6 billion in accumulated foreign direct investments between 2007 and 17, which are 10 years. So these are quite impressive figures, I would say. But so, however, that's also a fact we have to mention. The pandemic hit the Mexican economy very hard, and consequently also hit the aviation sector very hard too. The demand in the country sunk drastically within the last 2 years, and so Mexican exports dropped between 32 and 35% in the year 2020, and also the aviation sector was suffering from the overall global decline in passenger air traffic. But the global demand, luckily, for new aircraft and maintenance services, as well as growing air passenger flows worldwide, are slowly picking up again. And this is therefore shaping sort of a positive future for the industry here in Mexico post-COVID-19. But how can this future look like for you, and what can be your take out of this? This and many more questions will be answered by our today's expert who is here. I'm very happy to welcome, without any further ado, Mr. Luis Lizcano. He is the CEO of the Mexican Federal Aerospace Association, the Federación Mexicana de la Industria Aeroespacial, short FEMIA. And yeah, he has many years of experience in the private and public sector, and soon serves his, I think, 9th year, if I looked it up correctly, within FEMIA. And just a quick word on FEMIA itself. This is a non-profit association that brings together companies in the aerospace industry in Mexico. The federation itself is also, I would say, young because it was established in November 2007 with the purpose of promoting the development of the Mexican aerospace industry on a national and international level. Yeah, FEMIA's mission is, amongst others, to attract foreign companies here to Mexico, willing to establish a representation and to connect these companies among the already established OEMs and tier 1, 2, 3 suppliers. So I think the great impact in the sector is reflected in the figures I already mentioned before. And yeah, Mr. Lizcano, I would say let's just start right into the topic. It's my pleasure to have you here today, and I would like to hand over to you to tell our audience a little bit more about what's going on in the Mexican aerospace industry.
Thank you, Thomas. It is certainly both a pleasure and an honor to share with you some facts and figures about the Mexican aerospace industry. Thank you to Advantage Austria to give us the opportunity to speak about this. A little bit about FEMIA. FEMIA is a private nonprofit organization established 15 years ago, and basically with the Aerospace Industry Association of Mexico. We have somewhere around 110 members in 14 states, different states of Mexico, and our members are accountable for more than 80% of aerospace industry export from Mexico or from FEMIA members. We have a nationwide scope, and we collaborate with both national and international organizations. You know, this is just a sample of the organization that we collaborate. This is our members. You know, you may recognize some of the logos there, as they have operations in Mexico. And you know, the ones that you don't recognize are equally as important because they actually are part of the Mexican aerospace industry ecosystem. So you know, this is these logos account for more than 80% of the aerospace industry exports of Mexico. FEMIA is also an associate member of the International Coordinating Council of Aerospace Industry Associations, in which the associations of Europe, the United States, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia are also with FEMIA. And actually, we are, you know, the industry voice in forums like ICAO and IATA. Okay, that's a little bit red, but that was intended to be red. But you know, we operate in different commissions. You know, from supply chain to foreign investment promotion, talent formation, space, innovation and technology, technical, and MRO. Okay, well, in order to tell you the story of the aerospace industry, we need to start that by telling the pre-COVID scene of that. And at a glance, you know, Mexico aerospace industry was considered a new industry sector in Mexico. You know, we have formally somewhere around 15 years, with a growth on those 15 years of more than a little over 14% average growth. We operate mainly in civil commercial aeronautics and with a positive trade balance. But you know, we're expanding. Those are areas of opportunities in areas like defense and space. Prior to the pandemics, we have nearly 368 plants. Most of them have manufacturing capabilities, but there are also MRO and engineering and design capabilities as well, with exports close to $10 billion and direct jobs of around 60,000 direct jobs. We managed to develop a very highly competitive manufacturing platform in a little less than the years. And of course, you know, due to the pandemics, you know, the perspective was uncertain at the time. And these are data from 2016, you know, because, you know, this is a world ranking, and unfortunately, not all countries have data readily available, but we estimate that Mexico is now in the top 10 export economies in the aerospace industry. So, you know, we're moving ahead and moving forward in this category. Some global companies operating out of Mexico, you may recognize. I'm not going to go in detail of that, but you know, you may recognize some of them. We have some OEMs that are operating here in Mexico, and also some tier ones that are having or developing programs for the main civil and commercial aircraft in the world. And these are some of the products and services that Mexican aerospace industry has, you know, from propulsion, engine systems and engine components to aerostructure, aircraft interiors, landing gear systems, electric and electronic systems, and you know, all the industrial skills attached to that, you know, precision machining, engineering, plastic, injection molding, composites, secondary processes, and of course, engineering and design. You know, few people know that, for example, all the set of doors of the 787 Dreamliner are manufactured in Mexico. Also, all the wiring harness for that very same plane, and also for the A380 was designed and manufactured also in Mexico. You know, landing gears for the A350, interiors for Embraer E2 and 737 MAX are also manufactured in Mexico. And I could continue on and on and on, you know, parts for the new LEAP engine, you know, I just can't go on and on, but you know, there are many parts of the aircraft that the world flies right now that are manufactured in Mexico. Well, this is the geographic distribution of in Mexico. There are basically 5 regions or 5 zones that have an industrial development around this industry. And this is only the number of facilities. You know, this may be different in terms of revenue and in terms of jobs, for example. So, you know, I would say that among these 5 regions, there are 3 regions that have a little competitive edge over the other 2, which are Baja California, Chihuahua, and the region around Querétaro, you know, the Bajío region. Export destinations, you know, more than 80% goes to North America, United States, and Canada, and the rest goes to Europe. However, you know, that out of that 80% that goes to the United States, of exports going to the United States, actually end up in Europe in programs mainly for Airbus. Okay, this, you know, this is supposed to be animated, but I'm going to try to, it actually overlaps and it's going to be difficult to show, but basically what we have here is that in 2019, even though we have the 737 MAX crisis, which started that year basically in March, where the Aeronautics Authority just landed all 737 MAX aircraft, you know, the assembly line just continued go on, and 2019 was a good year. if we compare 2000 versus 2018, we had a two-digit growth, accounting for 12.41% growth versus 2018. Another thing that happened in 2019, and it's very well known, was that in December there was a report that it was some sort of epidemics in Wuhan named coronavirus. The rest of the story is very well known. 2020, well, it doesn't. By 2019, you can see the export rate growth, and this chart I like very much because it actually shows in 2004 we started exporting $1.3 billion, and by 2019, only 15 years later, we have $9.6 billion, which is 7 or 8 times what we have in 15 years. So it's in terms of the industry, which is basically a very conservative industry, this growth rate is certainly a case in the global aerospace industry. Well, what happened post-COVID? Well, this is very difficult to explain, but I'm going to try to, this is supposed to be animated, but the 737 MAX was still not flying, and the assembly plant stopped from January to May. Okay. On top of that, we have the global emergency declared and the lockdown due to COVID, and the drop in demand because of that. And to make things a little bit worse, aerospace industry was not essential when the COVID crisis started in Mexico. So we had to work a little bit with the Mexican authorities in order to prove our case and show that this was an essential industry. And then it was declared essential in June 2020. 2020 was basically a disastrous year for not only for Mexico's aerospace industry, but for the global industry. Depending on the programs, the drops were from 35% to 45%. Exports in Mexico dropped 31.8%, which basically we lost a third of our exports in 2020. What happened in 2021? Well, we recover 6%. We have a recovery of 6%, basically locating our exports in around $7 billion out of 6.6. So we had a growth of 6%. What we're expecting on the 3 following years is basically again a double-digit growth. In 2022 we started a bit slow, but right now we're this is starting to, demands are starting to kicking up, and we expect a big whiplash effect either on the third quarter or fourth quarter of 2022 or the first semester of 2023. So we are expecting a big increase in the demands, and then we're established back to our normal growth levels of 2 digits are located between 13 and 12% for the previous year. So basically we expect to reach recovery to the levels of 2019 between 2023 and 2024, which is basically what the industry analysts are in concurrence right now globally. So basically that's the picture for the aerospace industry. And now, if it's okay with Thomas and everybody, I would try to answer some questions from the audience. So please, Thomas, if you may.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Lizcano, for the presentation. So we see a steady incline here, and we hope to see recovery within the next 2 years. Let me, before we go to the audience questions, just allow me to forward you also some questions and statements. We are regularly confronted by Austrian entrepreneurs in the sector when talking about the aviation industry. So one is, there's a lot of talks about USMCA, which is, as we know, in place since 2020, and it's NAFTA's successor. And the trade agreement is also heavily discussed here in Mexico, as you know, and demands a great adaptation for especially the automotive industry in terms of local content value. Can you give us a statement on how this is affecting the aviation industry? We know here as well that the most important export market is the USA. And so are there any correlation with this topic? How do you see this?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Thomas. You know, this is a very interesting question. As you know, USMCA predecessor was NAFTA, and NAFTA gave a great kickstart, a great boost to Mexican exports economy, both in automotive, but also in aerospace. As for USMCA, the difference is basically what you mentioned of the local content. Basically, that's the biggest importance of this new USMCA. For automotive, this is going to be a very big issue because you know the volumes for local content are somehow tight, so it's easy to reach the restraint levels in automotive. As for aerospace industry, we still have a lot of things to do with it because number one, aerospace industry was a global industry even prior to USMCA and even prior to NAFTA. Therefore, a lot of the commodities or the components are not subject to tariffs, okay, or the tariffs are extremely low. That's one consideration. The other consideration is that the local content limits for Mexico are extremely high for the volume. So we can do a lot of things from Mexico. We can do more things in aerospace industry from Mexico than from automotive. And of course, Mexico is an excellent platform to become part of this local content that USMCA is calling for.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to encourage the audience, if there are any questions, you can post them right now, and I will read it out loud then to Mr. Lizcano. Before coming to that, my second question was, what we are also experiencing a lot is questions regarding this nearshoring trend. So due to various incidents in the past and the present, like, I don't know, the trade war between the US and Canada, the scarcity of containers, clogged up ports everywhere, and therefore rising logistical costs, many companies are now considering shifting their US export-oriented production from Asia to Mexico. We see this a lot with European and Austrian manufacturers as well. Do you see an affection or a profit for the aviation industry in Mexico here? And do you by any chance know already established success stories from Europe?
Yeah, of course. We can we do consider that this is a great opportunity for companies from all over the world to supply the North American market out of Mexico. Because that is happening. Logistics are a big concern in the industry, especially in a very complex supply chain like the one that we have. Definitely is a concern. Also, our business had to do, basically with two areas, the civil and commercial, but also, and the same companies handle also military defense and things are subject to intellectual property protection. So basically, those things are actually pushing the supply chain leaders of the OEMs and big tier ones companies to reconsider and re-engineer their supply chains out of nearshoring and try to avoid what they call this single source, which many of them were from Asia. And you know, to make things more complex, also we have a third factor that will definitely be affecting the supply chain of the aerospace industry, which is the Ukraine-Russia crisis. In terms of there's one metal raw material or commodity, which is basically titanium, which is extensively used in aerospace industry, and you know, titanium and titanium based alloys are becoming extremely scarce, and you know, the lead times are going from 12 weeks to 56 or 58 weeks. So if there's availability, so we see that this is going to put also big pressure. And you know, Ukraine and Russia are big producers of titanium, you know. So that thing is those three considerations are going to put pressures on the global supply chain. But you know, the first two will definitely will present an opportunity for companies that operate in Mexico to supply the North and Latin American markets.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Just jumping quickly into the comments section, we have one comment here from an Austrian automotive company already established in Mexico. We manufacture aluminum components, and we would like to know how FEMIA can help us to find out about demands in the aerospace industry for aluminum.
Yes, you know, the best way to do, you know, FEMIA has a supply chain commission, a supply chain development commission, and we operate a national supply chain development program. We certainly are looking for new suppliers, as we do have opportunities open right now for manufacturers, especially in the areas of you know, investment castings, forgings, CNC precision machining, plastic injection molded parts, composites, and some electronics, and you know, electromechanic components as well. So we do have you know, demands available. The only thing is that we need to check you know, the little adjustments to make the transition from automotive to aerospace, but usually that it's easier than if you try to just jump into aerospace industry without not being in a competitive industry such as the automotive. So if you want, just you know, my phone number and my email, if you want to just drop me an email there with the information, you know, I will be glad to have my supply chain program manager to contact you and start working with you to try to get some more information and see if you know, we can qualify the supplier for aerospace industry demands.
Perfect. Yeah, just as a matter of fact, I think we have many Austrian subsidiaries in the automotive sector being present as a tier 1, tier 2 supplier, and yeah, many products and many solutions in the automotive industry, I think, can be also used in the aviation aerospace sector. So I'm not sure. In the past, I remember that FEMIA had a sort of a catalog. It was a questionnaire from your members, like asking them where is the demand and what to do. Do you have this updated? Is this something we can send out to the participants as well?
Yes, you know, we had it prior to the pandemics. Right now, the whole thing is changing, and this is changing quite fast. Actually, you know, what we are experiencing right now is that we are receiving far more RFQs and RFIs from the purchasing companies than before COVID in Mexico. So you know, the best way to have is you know, we have we have not quantified what is being demanded right now, but we do know what kind of commodities are being demanded. That information, yes, we can share with you, and you know, I can send that which commodities are being demanded, and if you are in any of those. And would you be interested in give it a try to the aerospace industry as a supplier? Just contact us, and you know, so we can start working on a case. What we have is that we have a little assessment, self-assessment, to see which are the gaps that you need to fill in order to become a supplier, a competitive supplier in the aerospace industry. So that's basically your first step. You know, we will send you also information about that. That will be operational in June. And you know, on a more automated process. Now we do it you know, on a case by case, but you know, starting in mid-June, in a week or a couple of weeks, something like that, we will have that automated so that you can you know, fill your self-assessment, and you can know, you know, what are your gaps in order to become a supplier, and also what is that you can do to fill those gaps as well.
Okay, thank you very much. There is one question more coming up. It says we are a UAV, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle engine manufacturer in the power range from between 8 to 140 horsepower, and already have customers in this area. What possibilities are there to better develop the UAV market? Which companies would be best to contact, and which companies or organizations are currently involved in Mexico, obviously?
Right now, the UAV market, the UAV projects are already in developing right now by some big companies, but there are some mid-sized companies that are supplying basically the public safety UAVs and things like that out of Mexico. If you know, there are unfortunately right now there are not so many, but we see that as a trend, and we are expecting some more projects out of this from the both from the new from the big companies, and also from the up and coming companies working on this sector. So you know, if you want, we can contact you with the ones existing. There are not so many, but you know, you can contact us, and you know, we can give the information to this company.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, obviously, as you know, our office is not only in Mexico, but also in other countries where aviation sector is present around the world. I'm happy to assist you also when it comes to market entry topics, maybe general consulting, economic, legal topics, finding appropriate business partners, or planning your next business trip. So if you have a questions regarding this and you don't want to ask it like publicly, but you want to discuss it bilaterally, you can obviously contact FEMIA directly, or you can get in touch with us, and we try to identify your potential clients or your potential business partners here in Mexico. So yeah, just quickly checking the questions section. I think we don't have any more questions for the moment. Once again, I'd like to encourage everybody that if there is anything left open, just feel free to contact us. You have the contact information of FEMIA here on this page, and our contacts are on the last slide of this page. Advancing to the very last slide of today's compact show, I talked about your business trips already to Mexico or potential business trips. And hereby I wanted to introduce a sort of a highlight we're preparing in the aviation sector alongside with our colleagues from the US. This is the week between October 3rd and 7th will be dedicated to the US and Mexican aerospace sector. Our two Advantage Austria offices in Los Angeles and here in Mexico are organizing trips to the aerospace hubs for you if you're interested, starting with a 3-day trip in California, including the most innovative aerospace hubs in the States and informing you about the latest trends and technologies in the sector. And then later on in the week, in Mexico, we offer you a complimentary program in that same week, and you can continue the journey. And in 2 days, we would like to explore alongside with you the most important and very essential assembly lines running in Mexico, without which I assume no assembly line in the US would be running due to the heavy dependency between the two countries. And yes, our program here in Mexico would be rounded off by B2B talks and in-depth information sessions. So a week covering 2 countries and many information on the events. These information they will be found, and you can register at wko.at, and obviously we will send out the information to you directly via email alongside with the presentation and alongside with today's recorded webinar. So yeah, I hope to see some of you here in Mexico. And yeah, with this having said, I would like to display once more our contacts. We came to the end of today's webinar, Mexican Aviation Industry Demands and Opportunities. I hope you have an idea of towards which future the Mexican aviation industry is moving. Obviously, if you have more specific questions, then we can discuss this bilaterally. And yeah, with this having said, I would like to thank you all for your interest and your participation today. I hope to see some of you, as I said, in October. Also, FEMIA will be happy to welcome you and discuss with you personally your opportunities. And yes, depending on from where you're listening to us, I wish you a good day or a good afternoon, and all the best. See you next time.